Namo Buddhaya. Let's do the chanting straight away. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami, dhammam saranam gacchami, sangham saranam gacchami, dutayambe buddham saranam gacchami, dutayambe dhammam saranam gacchami, dutayambe sangham saranam gacchami, tatayambe buddham saranam gacchami, tatayambe dhammam saranam gacchami, tatayambe sangham saranam gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from their happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this. Great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, I vow to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayata Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Soha. Tayata Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Soha. Tayata Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Soha. So I hope you're all well. Looking forward to some meditation now. I just share with you just prior to class. This was what I looked like. Like that and like that. It's very cold today. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully you're all well. Staying calm, positive mind, good attitude, mindful, aware, conscientious. All of these good mental qualities are prevalent in your mind. So let's now release the tension in the body. Get comfortable. Bring your mind inside your body and release whatever tension you may have from the tips of your toes all the way up your body, down to the tips of your fingers and to the top of your head. Let's take a few moments to do this now. Now scan your body once more, just to see if there's any leftover tension that you're able to release. And now initially place your mind onto the tip of your nose and the feeling of the breath as you breathe in your nose all the way into your lungs And back out of your nose again is the object of the meditation. So focusing on this feeling of the breathing as you breathe in and breathe out. If thoughts arise or any mental activity arises, don't cling to it. Don't grasp at it. Also, don't try to force it away or deny it, but simply and naturally let it go by replacing your mind back onto your breath. And if your mind becomes dull, then wake it up a little bit by refocusing on your breath more brightly. You can also add the extra technique of counting the breaths from 1 up to 10. Don't count past 10 though. We don't want the counting to be the focus. We want the breath to be the focus. So 1 in-breath and 1 out-breath is 1 and so on. But if you get distracted counting towards 10, go back to 1 at that time. So breathing in, breathing out. All you have to do physically is be here physically and breathe. All you have to do mentally is focus the mind on the breath and then apply the antidote if your mind becomes distracted or dull by replacing your mind back onto the breath. So let's practice like this in silence for a little bit. So now you can feel pleased with yourself for engaging in the practice and fill yourself with universal loving kindness. Utilize the visualization technique of filling your whole being with the white light or nectar. Fill yourself with so much loving kindness that it now overflows and radiates outwards, initially to your loved ones, family, and friends. Filling them with the universal loving kindness too. May they be happy, free from suffering, and may they be peaceful. And now also radiate to strangers, those people that you're indifferent towards. Maybe you know them a little bit or not at all. Fill them with the universal loving kindness in the form of white light too, and the feeling, of course. May they too be happy, free from suffering, and be peaceful. Now also include those you may regard as enemies. Fill them with the universal loving kindness as well. May they be happy, free from suffering, and be peaceful. Now let's radiate this universal loving kindness out further and further distance-wise, initially around your immediate area, to all living beings now, not just humans. All the living beings that live on the land, even under the land, fly through the air, live in the waters, salt water, fresh water, large bodies of water, small puddles even. Whether they're born from wombs, eggs, or moisture, or through transformation. All sentient beings, whether weak or strong, great or small, short or tall, seen or unseen, near or distant, born or to be born. May they all be happy, free from suffering, and be peaceful. Now let's radiate this universal loving kindness out throughout your whole state or county, to all living beings, helping to free them from the sufferings, cause happiness, cause the path to enlightenment, cause peace. And now throughout other states and counties, throughout your whole country. And other countries throughout the world. Initially those you're familiar with and have an affinity towards, those you're indifferent towards, and those that for whatever reason you may have some sort of negative feelings towards, until your loving kindness pervades throughout all of the countries throughout the planet, and throughout all of the oceans, down to the core of the earth and to the outermost atmosphere. To all sentient beings, the innumerable sentient beings. May they all be happy, free from suffering, and to be peaceful. And now radiate throughout the whole solar system. The galaxy and the universe. Until your loving kindness pervades throughout infinite space. And just really briefly today, we're going to switch techniques to the Tonglen meditation, just for a couple of minutes. The giving-taking meditation. that we practiced while I was giving the commentary on the 8 verses of thought transformation. We will utilize the exhaling and the inhaling. So as you inhale, you take the black smoke from the heart centers of all sentient beings in front of you into your heart center. This frees them from their suffering and melts away, destroys your ego and self-centeredness. And when you exhale, you give the white light from your heart center that represents all of your goodness and merits, all of your realizations on the Dharma path, all of the things you find pleasurable. You give them to others. This helps you be free from selfishness and from attachment, and helps to create the happiness for others. This white light enters into their heart centers and fills them with the white light. So let's do this for a short period, okay? Inhaling, breathing in, taking the black smoke from others. Exhaling, giving the white light. So let's practice in silence. This meditation helps you to develop great compassion, the bodhicitta intention, and frees the mind from attachment, self-centeredness, ignorance that obscures your true wisdom. So we are unveiling true wisdom at the same time. Breathing in the black smoke. All sentient beings in front of you. If you find it hard to visualize this, just imagine. Just know that they are there. When you exhale, giving the white light, all of the goodness. So now, once again, you can feel very pleased with yourself. Feel yourself once again with the universal love and kindness, and radiate it out always, okay? This universal love and kindness, universal compassion, universal empathetic joy, all based on equanimity, and likewise based on wisdom. Or I should say in turn based on wisdom. So let's now do the dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious bodhicitta, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of shunyata, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. And so we will continue doing what we've done over the last few weeks, and that is contemplating and meditating on different aspects of a teaching that I wrote on the preciousness of the human life, which is one of the 4 preliminary contemplations that help us to develop a mind of renunciation and turn our mind to the Dharma fully, you know. The other 3 are impermanence, cause and effect, or the law of karma, and the unsatisfactory nature of cyclic existence, which we will cover. I think impermanence probably in 2 weeks' time, maybe this one, maybe take another week, including today and then next week. And then after that, the law of karma, maybe impermanence can take a few weeks. And then the law of karma, a few weeks, and unsatisfactory nature of cyclic existence, quite quick, I think, maybe just 1 week. And then I'll give a little bit of a commentary on the interdependent origination as well, okay, utilizing once again an article that I wrote. I thought it's fun to do this for us, spend a little bit more time on these things. At the same time, I'm giving quite a bit of information, which covers probably into the next subject as well. Okay, so reading glasses. Did I clean them? Well, they're okay. All right, so I mentioned renunciation, the three principles of the path, or the three principal paths, if you like. Renunciation is the first one. Bodhicitta, the great compassion, altruistic intention is the second, and emptiness of self. This is shunyata. This is the wisdom aspect. Okay, these are the three principal paths, or the three principles of the path. Okay, doke? And that's why we are doing this now, okay? It wasn't until I read this teaching from the book that I thought we should do this, even though I've spoken about it before at different times, okay? And also it utilizes some of my writings, so they're not just wasted and put on Facebook. You know, now that I, at the moment anyway, don't have any more books coming out, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that's life, you know? At least we can utilize these teachings well now. So anyway, this is it. Still number 47 in the book. Every day is a good day. Every moment is a good moment. A great opportunity to practice the Buddha Dharma and bring benefit to all sentient beings. If we sincerely and wholeheartedly practice Dharma moment to moment, day to day, then every moment will be a joyful moment. Every day will be a joyful day. When we sincerely and wholeheartedly practice Dharma in this human life, our life becomes a precious human life, as we will be making the most of this rare and precious opportunity. We should constantly remind ourselves that we now possess a most valuable, priceless, and precious human birth. This will help us to maintain the inner strength, confidence, joy, and enthusiasm we need to take full advantage of this rare opportunity. We should be careful not to waste our lives by being distracted by superficial worldly concerns, so that we can emulate the great sages and masters of the past and truly believe with confidence that we can follow in their footsteps and make our lives truly meaningful and worthwhile. Okay, so I keep repeating that, but maybe you've got the book, you can read it yourself. Maybe next week I won't repeat that. Okay, so I will repeat this teaching, meditation, or contemplation on the precious human life. Once again, I remind you that I really want you to memorize these 8 freedoms, or sorry, yeah, 8 freedoms and 10 fortunes, or the other way around, actually. 10 fortunes, 8 freedoms. Memorize it, and then bring it to mind often, and really encourage yourself to practice, okay? Especially when you feel lazy, when you don't feel like practicing. That's when we actually really need to practice. Make a little bit more effort. The 10 fortunes and 8 freedoms. Human life is considered precious when it is endowed with the excellent qualities or fortunes and freedoms, or good conditions needed to engage in Dharma practice. Firstly, the 10 fortunes, 5 of which relate to you and 5 to the outside world. We should reflect on how fortunate it is that I have been born as a human being. I have been born in a civilized land, a spiritual country, that is, where people are keeping vows and living morally. I have been born with sense faculties intact, able to hear, see, smell, think, and so forth. I haven't committed any of the 5 heinous acts, extreme wrongdoings that would result in a rebirth of great suffering in the next life. I have some faith and devotion in the Buddha's teachings and some inspiration to practice to tame this mind. I have been born in a world where a Buddha has come. I have been born in a world where a Buddha has taught and revealed the truth. I have been born where Buddha's teachings have not been lost from hearts and minds, and where both unmistaken understanding and realizations are still held by great practitioners. I have been born where Buddha's teachings are still being practiced in a pure way by the community of practitioners, our Dharma friends. I have been born where I had the necessary conditions to practice and the support of genuine masters who teach us from their great love and compassion. Now let us reflect on the 8 freedoms. I have the freedom to create the causes for temporary happiness and ultimate good by not being born in the hell realms, not being born as a hungry ghost, not being born as an animal, not having distorted views, such as denying that cause and effect exists, and so on and so forth. Not born in a place where no Buddha has appeared, not born in an uncivilized place where no one truly practices morality, not born intellectually disabled with no faculty to learn, understand, or practice the teachings, not born as a long-life God in the form realm. And last week we covered and utilized the 3 wisdom tools on this part. We should reflect that with these fortunes and freedoms, I can attain the sorrowless state and supreme enlightenment. To waste this precious life is like one who returns empty-handed from a treasure island. And as I mentioned last week, if you went to a treasure island, you'll be actually going there to get a treasure because you know it's there. You're going to bring it back with you. The same now, we have this precious human life. Don't waste it. Don't go through the life just chasing after sort of pleasures and things like that, right? Practice the Dharma. Doesn't mean you don't enjoy yourself while you do it, okay? You'll actually enjoy yourself more. So the great master Lama Tsongkhapa said, this body of leisure is more valuable than a jewel, which grants every wish. And now is the time you have found such a life as this. Okay, so basically we kind of finished there last week. I'll repeat that teaching or that phrase. The great master Lama Je Tsongkhapa said, this body of leisure is more valuable than a jewel which grants every wish. And now is the time you have found a life such as this. So using your imagination, imagine having a jewel that you could actually get anything from. All the money in the world if you want, all the holidays in the world, all of the great paradises throughout the universes, all of the great pure lands. You actually could wish for these things and they would come true. But this precious human life is more precious than that because we get to practice the Dharma. We get to sort of face towards enlightenment, you know, turn our back on the suffering, not turn our back on the suffering, actually, that's the wrong way to put it, but actually face the sufferings and face the cause of suffering and work to uproot the causes of suffering and therefore realize what we call nirvana, okay? Very precious, isn't it? Much more precious than just getting a heaven or some sort of great meal or $1 million or something like that. Okay, so I don't think we need to reflect on that, but we'll go into the next paragraph. How are we doing for time? About 10 minutes. That's good. Oh, I wanted to do the Tonglen today. I actually viewed 1 year ago, we had obviously the classes with the commentary on the 8 verses. And I noticed, actually, I'm going to do this week. Normally, when I view these things, I actually go straight to the teaching, unless I remember giving teachings throughout the meditation and so on. But this time I actually went a little bit earlier and realized that we were doing that, and I remembered. So I thought I'd remind you, remember that this great compassion is not separate from the great love and kindness. You know, so you do love and kindness meditation, it actually includes the great compassion. You do Tonglen, it includes them both as well, okay? I'd like you to do these practices every day, even if it's only for a few minutes. You know, do it longer sometimes as well. Okay, so these words indicate not only how meaningful it is to have found such a life, but also how difficult and rare it is to have done so. We should contemplate these ideas again and again to realize a deep understanding and conviction into their meaning. Begin by reflecting on what you can check for yourself to be true. Acceptance of the sufferings of the more hidden realms can come later. So now I'll repeat that. You listen, okay? I don't know if maybe I'll repeat it in little bits. Listen, the wisdom of hearing, then contemplate for a short time, and then meditate and absorb your mind with what it is you understand from this contemplation based on the hearing, okay? So you can close your eyes again utilizing these three wisdoms and also the Vipassana technique, utilizing this technique that is so precious. Everything's precious today, isn't it? These words indicate not only how meaningful it is to have found such a life, but also how difficult and rare it is to do so. The Buddha said this so many times, how rare it is to have the opportunity, especially to practice the Dharma in the human life. How rare it is to have a human life, especially one where you have all of these freedoms and advantages. Don't waste it. It's very rare, very precious, very meaningful. So now contemplate on this. You don't have to do your head in. You don't have to try too hard now. Just with a nice, calm, clear mind. And now absorb your mind with understanding. Now back to the wisdom of hearing. We should contemplate these ideas that are coming up, as well, again and again, to realize a deep understanding and conviction into their meaning. Begin by reflecting on what you can check for yourself to be true. Acceptance of the sufferings of the more hidden realms can come later. So I will explain throughout this article and then give a little bit more commentary on it, the different sufferings of the different types of beings, okay, that we don't have to experience ourselves. How fortunate we are. So we should contemplate this again and again. And just hear these words, these next few words, and then contemplate. Realize a deep understanding and conviction into the meaning of this preliminary practice, these contemplations. Just contemplate that so briefly, and now absorb your mind. Okay, back to the hearing. And acceptance of the sufferings of the more hidden realms can come later. We don't need to worry about it, even though the Buddha taught us about these other realms. And of course, we get to learn from the karma we create to be in those realms, or the ones karma we avoid, things like that. We get to learn from that. But we can't perceive it as a human being right now. We can perceive the human realm and we can perceive the animal realm. And every now and then we may get a glimpse of other realms, but we're not sure, are we? So don't worry about it. Okay, now, once again, the wisdom of hearing, or first of all, I'll speak the paragraph. We can see directly that many people are born in countries without even the most basic freedoms, where they are tortured, oppressed by cruel and harsh systems of government. Many suffer persecution and extreme violation of their basic human rights. We should reflect, am I not fortunate to live in this land? So now, closing your eyes, really the wisdom of hearing, really absorb or remember the teaching. And then when I mention it, sort of contemplate on it briefly. We can see for sure directly that many people are born in countries without even the most basic freedoms. So contemplate on that. I repeat, we can see directly that many people are born in countries without even the most basic freedoms. Hearing again, where they are tortured, oppressed by cruel and harsh systems of government. Many suffer persecution and extreme violation of their basic human rights. Contemplate that. And absorb your mind with it. Our hearing. We should reflect, am I not fortunate to live in this land where we do have some freedoms to practice the Dharma? Even if it's not just on the internet right now, you know? It's very fortunate. Contemplate this. And absorb your mind with this understanding. I think we may get cut off probably again. Maybe I've got another couple of minutes to go. Many are born blind, disabled in various ways, unable to receive or practice spiritual teachings. Am I not fortunate to be born with sense organs and faculties intact, able to hear and understand the Dharma? So once again, wisdom of hearing, utilize this. Many are born blind, disabled in various ways, unable to receive or practice spiritual teachings. And think, am I not fortunate to be born with sense organs and faculties intact, able to hear and understand the Dharma? So now contemplate this.
One minute.
And absorb your mind with this. And so now once again, here are the teachings, even though we probably won't get to the end of this. But the next paragraph says, many people have narrow, distorted views, unable to understand the law of cause and effect of past and future lives and so on and so forth, and therefore lead foolish, wasted lives. Am I not fortunate to have the chance to discover the truth and be free from suffering? So we'll pick that one up next week. I rejoice in your goodness as always. Please look after yourself mentally and physically. Care for others as well. Takes your mind off your problems a lot of the time, actually. Practice the meditations that we did today.